everybody, welcome back. Challenge Call with Max and Avery. I'm your host, Max.
And I am Avery. How are you guys?
All right, so we are back recording on a Wednesday now, which will again be released Friday. I actually didn't end up getting last ones up till Saturday, which was I slightly forgot / slightly had other things I was attending to the whole time, so it was chaotic. But this time, I'll try to get it up by Friday. We are slowly backing off of our camp schedule a little bit. You know, our guys legs are tired. They're a little banged up right now and stuff. So we're slowly regaining a little more time to ourselves. So hopefully that should help out. Avery, how are you?
Oh man, I'm good. Came back from Iowa this weekend. I have a sick kid now, but he's getting better now. And so other than that, I'm got one more week of the summer, and then I'm back in school. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, other than that, that's all I really got.
Yeah. So since we're doing another shorter episode here, we'll get straight into things with Cubs Corner. A little Cubs update from Avery.
Yeah, so Cubs right now, we are 61-58, which that kind of puts us 3.5 games back from the NL Central division lead. We're still in third, but we're only a half a game back out of that wild card spot. So we're still making that final push, trying to make things happen throughout. Our next upcoming game is the Cincinnati Reds, and they are second. So I'm hoping we can pull it off against the Reds and kind of take that leap up because they're in the wild card spot right now. So
how many more series are there? Like, how many more teams do we play before end of regular?
Yeah, we have. I'm not even sure, to be honest.
It's like 2 or 3.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3. That's what I would say. Yeah, because we're almost done. Okay, so yeah, we have Boston Red Sox series coming up, and then we have the Kansas City Royals. That'll be interesting games. Detroit Tigers, Pittsburgh, and then Milwaukee, San Francisco, Arizona, Colorado, and Milwaukee again. So not many.
We have a ways.
Well, yeah, it goes into like baseball still goes all the way up till September 30th. So we still got a good solid month and a half of baseball left to be played. So we could falter, but this is kind of your December season, and like football wise, you start making that separation if you're going to be a playoff team, or you start, falling back from there. So we'll see. I'm hoping the Cubs can kind of turn the corner like we've been, but it seems like we win 2, we lose 2. We win 2, we lose 2. So epitome of consistently average. But
seems like most of the teams we are fans of here. But moving on, we'll recap the first week of preseason we had here. Just kind of wanted to throw out some of the scores from the Conference of the Bears, that NFC North. The Seahawks played the Vikings. Seattle did end up winning it 24-13. Impressive there by Seattle. Vikings, can't say I'm surprised. Bengals versus Packers. Unfortunately, the Packers won it 36-19. Obviously, without Joe Burrow, since he's down. Was Jordan Love? Did you watch that game at all? Do you know if Jordan Love played most of the time? Or
I did. He played a decent amount. Jordan Love's stat line was 5 for 5 and 110 yards passing.
And so he didn't play that much.
No, he played about a half of a quarter, probably. But yeah, he looked good. Unfortunately, I don't like to say that, but he looked good. Packers look good in a whole.
And lastly, the Lions played the Giants, and they won it 21-16. So almost a full sweep for the NFC North, as we'll get into later. The Bears did beat the Titans. Just kind of the Vikings looking a little lackluster. One thing I did notice too, just kind of looking at the preseason score, I did not watch a single down of any one of these games. That's technically a lie. I did watch the highlights of the Bears and the Titans, but I did not watch a single down of any of these other games. I did notice, though, there were a lot of upsets, or at least in my head, what I would consider an upset. You know, teams like the 49ers losing to the Raiders, or I can't think of Ravens losing to Steelers, maybe. I forget who exactly they lined up against, but a part of me has to wonder, is this improvements slash declines in talent, or is this just the preseason effect? Is this just the effect of removing starters, and typically lesser teams play their starters a little bit more during the preseason, trying to get them ready? Like, are we watching this unfold, or are we actually seeing some new and improved rosters on teams?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think you get a mixture of both, but I know a lot of these playoff teams, they don't play their starters very often. They don't really come out with that. So like the way I look at it is it's just the preseason effect. You're facing backup, second string, third string. So yeah, your starters you might be the Philadelphia Eagles and you might have the best starters in the world right now in the NFL, but like it doesn't mean your second string, third string guys can hold any water. So like I mean that's the mindset I kind of take from it. And that's just kind of the way preseason has always been, and that kind of brings it back to like, is preseason even there for the fans? Like sometimes I feel like they shouldn't even televise it.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, if they're going to do it, they're going to televise it. It's all about the money. Certain fans still enjoy seeing it. We do a little bit with the Bears. But yeah, no, I mean, when I say I haven't watched a single down, that doesn't really bother me. Any given Sunday, that would bother the absolute hell out of me. Missing all of football, that'd be crazy. But preseason, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm gonna watch week one and see who does what. I'm gonna
For sure.
see who comes out to play and who might be looking a little rough. And obviously, in week one, that doesn't have to mean a whole ton either, because that can flip on a switch. Certain teams might start a little slow in the season. Certain teams might get a full head of steam and then die off. It all depends on who they're facing and kind of whether they're starters or finishers. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I think preseason is a lot for the players and the coaches and the team itself, not so much purely for fan enjoyment whatsoever.
For sure. One thing that I do want to mention before we get to like Bears news and stuff, like, so you mentioned the Ravens game. I did watch the end of that. So the Ravens played the Eagles, and the Ravens pulled it off 20-19 on a Justin Tucker 60-yard field goal. And we know Justin Tucker,
Not
but
surprising at all there.
not surprising, but just to see him get in that clutch situation right in the first game of the year, it's like, yep, football's back because Justin Tucker's still hitting 60-yard field goals for a game winner. It's just kind of cool to see. Tyler Huntley didn't play too bad in that game, too. There's some winners and losers, if you want. I don't mind talking about that for a little bit. Some
Sure.
of the winners and losers of it, well, one are Justin Fields, but we'll get into that. But another one was Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield came back out and he went 8 for 9 and 63 yards passing and 1 TD in a win against uh, the Texans. So
And remind me, where is Baker again right now?
he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
So and there's been a lot of rumors that Baker might not win that starting job because Kyle Trask, but coming out solidifying 8 for 9. 63 yards and a touchdown. It kind of goes back to, okay, is this the Baker we saw in that one comeback game last year with the Rams? Is this the Baker of the first couple of years with the Browns? Or is this the Baker that we saw in Carolina stink it up in the last year with Cleveland? Like Baker's one of those question marks that the preseason is good for Baker Mayfield. What's your thoughts on Baker? Like, do you think he'll find some success in Tampa Bay as the heir apparent to Tom Brady?
I think he finds success in Tampa Bay, if not for any other reason than the fact that Tampa Bay, just in general, has a solid roster. He has a solid team around him. I always say it, like, quarterbacks impact a game a ton, but at the same time, I think we give them slightly too much credit as far as you got to look at who's around them.
Right.
Too, because who's around them is arguably just as, if a quarterback is like 50% of game impact, there's still a huge gaping 50% that is everybody else that's on that team, offense and defense. And even just the coaching staff when it comes down to the real nitty gritty of things. Like you got Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay, and he's going to get the job done. He's still down there, right? He didn't retire
Yeah.
or anything.
Well,
Okay,
so he's part of the front office now. The head coach
front
is Todd
office now.
Bowles. Uh,
Okay,
yeah, head coach is Todd Bowles, but he was the defensive coordinator down in Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians. So I mean, he's been around. There's Bruce Arians still part of the organization. He's still out at practices. He just doesn't have that title anymore.
so
Uh,
yeah, long-term successful coaching staff, great players on the team. I think Baker is going to do all right for himself. I don't know if he'll stick out as a Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady type of stud, but he'll definitely be a successful quarterback, I think, in Tampa.
I agree, man. I think Baker has a shot to kind of revitalize his career in Tampa Bay. So I'm excited for that. Another winner of the week was Deuce Vaughn. I mean, we've mentioned him a couple of times, the rookie running back for the Dallas Cowboys. That's 5'5", that his dad got to call him to come play for the Cowboys. Out of Kansas State, he ran the ball for 6 rushes for 50 yards and a touchdowns. And 1 touchdown. So like he's the number 2 option behind Tony Pollard because they let Zeke go this year, and he's gonna get a lot of touches with this.
It is time to let. Where is Zeke? Did Zeke go
Zeke,
anywhere, or is he chilling?
he actually that was the next thing I was gonna say is Ezekiel Elliott signed a contract with the New England Patriots this week. So Zeke is up in New England. That'll be interesting. Feel like personality of Bill Belichick and personality of Ezekiel Elliott doesn't clash or mend well together. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
No, yeah, those two names are organization. The person in the organization in my head that doesn't mesh well there. But we'll get into our own personal things here with our Bears necessities segment. The Bears did play the Titans, and we did win, as I mentioned earlier. The exact score was 23-17. Not as gaping of a gap as I would like to see. I would like to see one of those kind of blowout situations, especially since, like we said, it's preseason, and when you play some of your starters and you're going against like a second string, can you be that happy? But the things that we did see our starters do, regardless of who they were playing, I thought it was nice to see. Justin Fields, 3 for 3, 129 yards. That's 3 passes, 129 yards. That's 40 yards a pass, a little more than, but and 2 touchdowns.
right.
That's a good stat line. I mean, it's a very short stat line because obviously he did not play like a ton of minutes in the game, but for the short time being it, like if you multiplied that over an entire game, that's a hell of a stat line.
Oh, 100%. But I do want to clarify with these 3 for 3, the net yard, the ball went through the air was -2, -3, and -2. All 3 of these passes were screen passes. And the first one of the day was to DJ Moore, and he took it 1 reception, 62 yards to the house for the first score of the day. And
so we're saying that's what 64 yards after catch, right?
pretty much,
Yards
yep,
after,
64 yards.
64 yards.
And so that's a welcome to Chicago moment for DJ Moore. He's like, let me show these fans what they got. And then the other one was Khalil Herbert took a screen about 44 yards to the house. And I think it was Velus Jones on that 3rd touchdown. Or not that 3rd, but that 3rd pass that he took it about 17 yards up the sideline. So it was nice to see Velus Jones in there too. But yeah, to clarify, Justin did have a 3 for 3, 129 yards passing, but he did not throw the ball very much down the field at all, actually. Yeah, he didn't throw. So we don't know what we really have yet with Justin, like coming into this year. We know what we've seen last year and 3 screens, but those 3 screens were very successful. And so that's something, right?
No, definitely. I mean, it's definitely good to clarify because I'm always one for clarifying certain stat lines when it's like, okay, here's the numbers and here's the reality of the situation because they can be completely different things. As you said, these numbers would kind of imply, but at the same time, sure, he's 129 yards passing. It's all yards after catch, but that's a successful offense, you know? Like, obviously, the screen game's working great, and screens can be hard to execute sometimes. So, like, I mean, if that's the Bears' game plan, if they keep running with this, shit, that's going to be solid. That's fine.
Oh, I agree, man. I think our first team offense looked pretty good, and our defense looked pretty great. I know Eddie Jackson had a pick in the opening series, and no, not opening. So Titans came down, they scored first. It was 7-0. DJ Moore took it to the house 7-7, and then Ryan Tannehill threw a pick to Eddie Jackson. And I was like, okay, look at our defense kind of rolling. And then Khalil Herbert took that 56 yards to the house. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And then they put Justin out one more series and 17-yard scamper.
Before we get any more into the defense, Rashawn Johnson, our running back out of Texas there, he had 12 carries for 44 yards, which is about 3.7 yards per carry. So that's not too bad. That's serviceable. If we got 3.7 yards every attempt, like we're getting a first down
For
every
sure.
every four plays. So that's in my head, like those are decent numbers. That's what we want to see. So I'm satisfied with that. Now we can transition into our defense a little bit. Noah Swell played. I might be saying that.
Cool.
Sewell. He played. I don't know how much exactly, but he had 3 tackles, 1 assist, and 1 sack, which I thought was a pretty decent stat line for a linebacker there.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like seeing that, and especially with like the opportunities he's getting with Jack Sanborn, out right now. Like he's making the most of his opportunities, and I hope it just kind of continues throughout the year. Um,
Definitely.
Another guy on the defensive side that I want to mention, man, is uh, Trevis Gibson. We don't talk about him much. Defensive end, he's actually going to probably end up starting for us this year. He had 5 total tackles, 3 solos, and 1 sack. And he looked sharp, man. He got off the ball quick, and I was like very impressed on like that kind of veteran presence because he's been a backup in Chicago for the last 3 years. And just to see a guy get that chance after sitting behind some greats like Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack, and then last year it was Robert Quinn, and now you get to be here and you get to shine and be like, hey, this is what they taught me. Here we go.
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see our defense return, hopefully, and I'm excited to see our offense grow because that's our biggest detriment. Has to be that offense. So I love seeing some of the numbers, even if they were screens, whatever, they're numbers. Uh, but yeah, I'm still excited to see that the defense is there. It's successful. It looks like we got a decent pick with our linebacker and Noah Sewell,
Sewell.
whatever. Sewell. That's gonna take me a
Tyro
minute.
Santos, Cario Santos, same
And
situation.
yeah, you're the one that mixes up names all the time, so I can't be judged too harshly for it. But coming up next week on Saturday, the 19th, around 6 p.m., we will be in Indianapolis playing the Colts. What are your thoughts on that game at all? First of all, did the Colts win their first preseason game? Who did they play?
Actually, that I'm glad we're bringing up the Colts. The Colts first preseason, they lost to the Buffalo Bills 19-23.
I mean, that's got to be expected.
Yeah,
That's
I
actually
mean,
kind of a close score, low key.
yeah. But yeah, bringing up the Colts, man. Anthony Richardson came out, one of the rookie quarterbacks. He started for the Indianapolis Colts in Week 1, and he was officially named the starting quarterback now for the Indianapolis Colts going into the year. But he flopped. I hate to say it, but that first week game, like he flopped. He was not good. 7 for 18 and 1 pick and 2 fumbles. And we know about fumbles because that was Justin Fields' downfall his first year in Chicago. His first starting year, he struggled with fumbles. And so, like, I don't know how the Bears defense takes this game. Like, especially for like training purposes and like getting ready for the regular season, because you're playing not only a rookie quarterback but a very green rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson. And so it's going to be intriguing to see how the Bears handle the definite like rookiness of this. And I hope they don't get used to this. I hope they don't get used to that type of play because we want our quarterback. I'd rather in the preseason, I'd rather play Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen back to back to back because I want them to tear our defense up because then our defense learns. They learn from their mistakes and they go at it. And so I don't want to play rookie quarterbacks in the preseason.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about challenging yourself and going against harder competition and everything. But I would hope that these guys are beyond the level that this affects them too much. But I will also say there is a big, big factor of not getting your shit kicked in like 3 weeks in a row before your first game. I get where you're coming from. You want competition, you want challenge, you want to have iron sharpen iron, you want to get better. But at the same time, you need some confidence. You need a little bit of self-confidence, a little bit of reassurance, just a little bit of, feeling good, actually finding some success and doing things well to keep that feeling pushing through to the season. So if they went out 3 preseason games, faced like the 3 hardest teams and got wrecked, going into that first week game, they might not be feeling too hot. They might be a little down. They might be a little, like having some intra-squad issues and conflicts, just like pointing fingers around. I would hope, like I said, they are professionals, that they're past that level and stuff. But that's a big, big factor that we talk about all the time when we're doing, like, we're about to do our preseason scrimmage on Tuesday. So coming up here in a week. And then our first game is the following Saturday, a couple Saturdays from now. I forget exactly, but you want to be able to instill a little bit of success purely for a confidence boost prior to going into an actual regular season game as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be hard too, like because I guarantee they're going to want to play Anthony Richardson throughout most of the game against Chicago, or at least half, like the first half, maybe the second half. But they have a decent backup quarterback waiting in the wings if he struggles. Gardner Minshew will be facing him. He went for 6 and 72 yards in that first game. And so it'll be interesting because Gardner Minshew, he's been around the game for a while now. He's a solid backup, solid veteran guy. And so, even if the Colts do struggle in the first half, we'll see if Gardner can't pick them up in the second. But I hope not because they are playing our Bears. But
yeah. And even just to that matter, a lot of it on the coaching side of things too, we're not going to play Anthony Richardson the same way we're going to play Aaron Rodgers or Pat Mahomes. Like from a game planning standpoint, like those games could be almost 2 entirely different defensive looks from us. One, we can be super aggressive, blitz, sit back and cover, whatever. Like it's the coaches week to week, the amount of things that they change and what they practice for that whole week leading into it is going to look so vastly different that I don't know if it matters that much that we're not playing a great quarterback, because when we do play a great quarterback or a different quarterback, everything that we did against Anthony Richardson is not going to be the same stuff we're practicing and building up to do against one of them anyway.
and that's fair also. That's a fair assumption. Yeah, I mean, and also that's all I really got for the Bears and Colts coming up. If you want to talk about another 2-3 games, we can.
Yeah, let's fill it up a little bit. We got at least 6 minutes here to keep going. Who else is playing? What other week?
So I
Two,
kind of want
two,
to do a
two.
recap. So I'm going to do a recap on the 49ers Raiders, that
Okay.
game. So 49ers got wrecked, man. 34-7. That
Did
was
Brock
like
Purdy play at
Brock
all?
Purdy did not play. Brock Purdy did not play in this game. Trey Lance played 10 for 15, 1 TD and 112 yards. Not bad. 4 sacks.
Not
That's
great.
not great. 2 fumbles. Not great. But Sam Darnold lit it up. 6 for 8, 84 yards, 1 TD. I mean, that's pretty good. The way I look at this is Brock's probably going to be the guy. Well, no, I like my mindset, man. Maybe Sam Darnold ends up taking that Brock Purdy job. Because I mean, think about it. Sam's been a veteran in the league. He's started for multiple teams. Kyle Shanahan, he's still young. Kyle Shanahan could replace Brock Purdy with Sam Darnold.
Potentially. When does Brock come back? Is Brock going to be back by regular season, or is he going to miss a game or two?
He's actually supposed to play this upcoming week.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll actually see Brock coming up this week. So we'll see how he does.
Perfect. So yeah, I think if Brock and Darnold even come out on the same level, like let's say they had identical stat lines in, let's say each one takes a quarter of their upcoming game, I think you go with Brock Purdy. It's the same kind of thing we were talking about with Sanborn and Noah Sewell, where you can't replace a guy who is in there being successful for you just because somebody else came in. Now, it's not being replaced with a rookie. It is being replaced with more of a veteran player who's been around, like you've said. But also, look at the success of Sam Darnold versus the success of Brock Purdy with your team in just his short stint that he did have in San Francisco. So I think all things else considered equal, I think you got to keep rolling with Purdy.
I think so too, and I'm excited to see if he comes back healthy next week and how he does. Because right now they have Sam Darnold listed as their starting quarterback.
Well,
So
yeah, because
Brock is at
Purdy's
number
hurt.
2, and then Trey Lance is 3. So we'll see if it sounds like Trey Lance is on the way out the door.
I think
I
everybody
guarantee.
knew that.
I think everybody knew that, but I figured they'd at least get a pick. I guarantee they cut him at the end of this offseason or preseason. But the Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play in this game. It was rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell, 4th-round pick out of Purdue. We saw Aiden O'Connell being Hawkeye fans. We played Purdue quite often. He was a good quarterback. He went 15 for 18, 141 yards, and 1 TD.
That's not too bad.
That's pretty good for a rookie quarterback, 4th-round pick. And it begs the question, is Jimmy Garoppolo's time already numbered in Las Vegas? Because, and that sucks because Jimmy gets away from, this high-touted rookie in San Francisco that's, right behind him. He fought these guys off. He went and signed this contract in Las Vegas. They draft a rookie in the 4th round, and he comes out and he has a performance like this. It's like, damn. Jimmy, I don't know if he's just a great mentor and he teaches everything he has that he learned from Tom Brady to these rookies and they just kind of take off with it. But I feel bad for the guy.
And I mean that could have been the case for the Raiders taking him, maybe they did grab him for his mentorship and not necessarily to be their guy. That would be a decently solid move. And if Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe that doesn't bother him any. Maybe he's completely chill with, hey, yeah, I got a lot to give to the game and I want to give it to as many rookies as I can and let's keep rolling. But you have to wonder now, does Jimmy come out at all in their next game? Do they need to see a little bit of okay, Aiden O'Connell's doing pretty good. Now we're starting to have some questions. Do we need to see a little bit of Garoppolo with this team to decide between the two?
I feel like you do. I mean, I think he has to come out and leave a stamp on the game. And he's like, okay, hey, they brought me in for a reason. I'm not just like this bridge mentor type quarterback. I am a starting quarterback in the NFL. I am a good starting quarterback in the NFL. This is why you brought me in. This is why you paid me the money. Here we go. And I'm hoping that Jimmy can do that next game. I don't know who they play next game. Um, yeah, I'm not sure who they play next game. Preseason schedule's a little weird, but yeah. So I'm interested and intrigued to
Broncos.
see the Broncos. That'll be interesting to play. Yeah, that'll be an interesting game to see, especially since I heard Russell Wilson sucked it up again. Um, feel bad for those Broncos, man. They gave up everything for the guy that just can't figure it out once he left Seattle.
I'm hoping they find at least a little bit success. My girlfriend's whole family, obviously being from Denver and everything, are big Broncos fans and stuff. So I've I've always I've always not minded the Broncos. I've kind of enjoyed watching them. I hope they find a little bit of success. It's definitely sad watching Russell Wilson just it's two different quarterbacks, dude.
I know. I don't.
Russell Wilson in Seattle and Russell Wilson in Denver, like it's two entirely different people. Like
Pete
what
Carroll
happened to
effect.
the man?
Pete Carroll effect. That's what it is. I think he was just good under like system quarterbacks. We talk about that all the time. Maybe and look at Geno Smith now. I think like Pete Carroll's system is just impeccable. I think it's a great system to be a quarterback in. So maybe that. I want to talk about one more game, and I think we could wrap it up. And it was the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Los Angeles Rams, and the two starting quarterbacks in this game was Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett. And
Oh,
and
rematch.
it's kind of cool because these two quarterbacks ended their college career playing each other in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, and that's where this game was held, in SoFi Stadium. And so it was kind of cool to see. Welcome to the NFL moment for Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett. So the Chargers only toted Max Duggan out for two possessions, and he went two
I
for
I was
three.
just I was
Yeah,
just looking at the stats. I was like, oh, Max Duggan barely played.
yeah. So Max Duggan is listed as the second string quarterback behind Justin Herbert. He's the second string quarterback. Brett Ripon for the Los Angeles Rams is listed as the second string quarterback. And so both quarterbacks only played a couple of possessions. So Stetson Bennett played most of the game for the Los Angeles Rams. And he looked good, man. Stetson Bennett looked good, 17 for 29, 191 yards and one TD. Easton Stick for the Los Angeles Chargers, 14 for 21, 109 yards and one TD. Easton Stick, nobody really cares. This was more of a Max Duggan, Stetson Bennett moment because
Yeah.
those two names will always be intertwined as long as we live. But I'm so excited for Max Duggan. I know we are a big Max Duggan podcast, and just to see him come out and just get to play in the NFL.
Yeah. I
It's
I
incredible.
wish I wish no ill will on Justin Herbert whatsoever. I do like the guy. I think he's a good quarterback, but at the same time, I want to see Duggan in some games. I want to see him come out and start, and I want to see what he's got at the next level. So sorry Herbert, but
You got
I
a
want to see
target on
Max
your
out
back.
there.
You got a target on your back from Max. Just to let you know, from Challenge the Call, tweet at us. Max is coming for your head. No, I'm kidding. But no, yeah, I think it would be cool to see Max Duggan get a starting opportunity at some point. And I think he will, man. I think these two, Stetson Bennett also. I think Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett, I think 2-3 years from now, they're both starting quarterbacks in the league. I truly think, and maybe not like great, like top 10 quarterbacks, but I think they are, like bottom of the level, like replacement guys, kind of like a Jacoby Brissett, Ryan Fitzpatrick for years. That's the type of career I see from Max Duggan. Stetson Bennett, he could have some spark like a Dak Prescott that, Matt Stafford retires and he could take over the Los Angeles Rams. But with Max Duggan, it's just going to be kind of hard with, Justin Herbert's so young and like it just doesn't seem realistic in short.
Max Duggan might not necessarily be a starter for the Chargers, but there is potential for trades and stuff to happen. And
Signing with the
I
new
think
team.
he does start at some point, sometime in the next few years, 5 years or so. I think he starts somewhere, whether it's with the Chargers or not. But
For sure.
that's all the time we have for you guys today. Doing another shorter episode. Next week will probably be another kind of shortish one. I don't know my schedule exactly. I think we'll technically be in practice, done with camp. So I'll have a little more time available. So maybe it will be a full episode, but everyone will just have to tune in and find out, I suppose.
For sure, man. Yeah, and I'm back in school next week, so we'll see how that goes. Would probably be another shorter episode, but other than that, guys, I just got 2 words. Bear down.